Hi and welcome back to my channel. Today we are just going to be reviewing the transformation of this shoe chair that I did. The studio I work at was actually going to be throwing this out, and I was just like, heck no. The heel on it was a little wobbly, and obviously the zebra print over time became really worn and dirty because they've had it for a really long time, but I thought I would go ahead and try and reupholster it. I have very little skill with reupholstering, and I have never done a shoe chair before, ever. So I thought it would be an interesting challenge, but as you can see, there's just some dark spots, and zebra print is not really the most friendly for wear and tear. Like, it's just very dingy at different points. And like I said, the heel itself needed to be repaired because it was wobbly. So first to start was kind of just tearing it all apart. I asked my mom about how I should go about doing this because she's upholstered a whole bunch of things in her life. So I just started by like ripping it apart and seeing where that took me, which was a big mess. But she said if I could take it apart, I could probably figure out how to put it back together. So we just kind of went piece by piece and pulled things off. And there's that wobbly heel again that I'm just kind of showing you there. And it started off just, getting really aggressive with it and ripping things apart. This chair was held mostly together with staples and pretty much just staples everywhere, and some of the more finer details were stitched on, such as the center or the cording, but most of it was just stapled in there really good. You can definitely tell with this shoe chair that it had never been recovered before. Everything was really on there and really well sewn in like it was an original. Most of the padding didn't end up being replaced. It was salvageable. When I took everything off, it was all still in place. The only thing that did happen was that eventually one of the dogs, the one that's a puppy right now, Miss Karma, our little shepherd puppy, actually ate a piece of it, and I ended up having to stuff and fix a portion of it. And that's Remy. She is not the one who did it, but she's adorable. She's our senior. But that's the damage that Karma did to the chair, which is unfortunate. It's really just because I left it uncovered for a while. So I ended up having to repad it just slightly. And this is Mr. Oswald, and I originally thought I was going to use this pillow and like rip it apart to stuff into the portions that she ate, but that didn't end up being how I fixed it. This is the fabric that I ended up choosing. I went to Hobby Lobby and I got this mermaid print, which I like to think of more as like dragon scales. Mostly for this project, you're just gonna like need a staple gun, and to kind of start, I just went ahead and I cut it in half, like right where I was, and then I just started working on stapling it around. Now, to fix the hole, I actually ended up using a rag on it. I just stuffed it with, I could have used stuffing, but I didn't have any. I just took a normal dish towel and I put it inside, which I didn't really take a video of because it wasn't really a normal situation. I kind of just went ahead and I kept draping the fabric to figure out how I needed to cut it and seam it and pull it across. The hardest part about this whole project was really just getting it in such a way that it was in place where it needed to be and folded over. And we did end up fixing the heel with just a couple wood screws to fix that wobble in it. It really wasn't that exciting. So this is what it looked like towards the end of the first day of me working on it. Really just a lot of pulling and tucking with this one. I ended up wanting to put a little bit of like cording on it. I did this little silver rope cording. Yet again, I got it at Hobby Lobby. And I just took it around, and I actually used hot glue for this. I used a mixture of hot glue and E6000 glue. E6000 glue is amazing because it dries clear versus hot glue. It's definitely faster. I also went ahead and I got some of these little diamonds to put on the side of the chair, because the way I ended up having to tuck and roll the fabric, I ended up making a seam on the side, and I wanted to just go ahead and staple it in there. So I did staple it in, and it created this little pillow effect, and I decided that I would put diamonds there. So that's what I did. Now, this is it with the cording and the diamonds. E6000 glue is amazing. It dries so fast and it's so durable. Now, I will not claim to you that this is at all perfect. At this point, the bottom is pretty much the only thing that's really not done. Added the cording, added the diamonds. I worked on the back fold a little bit to make it just a little bit more even. But yeah, most of this project was really just done by looking at it and folding it and cutting it. And then here I am working on the bottom of it. So the bottom was actually the hardest part. Not in the way that it was like actually the most difficult in terms of like folding or figuring. It was just really actually hard to get it to stay the way I wanted it. I went ahead and I pulled it over and folded it in different ways, but it was super hard to get the staple gun in between the heel to actually pop it into place. Had a lot of issues with this, but it ended up working out, and I think I did a decent job. I didn't really worry about the bottom. I kind of just ended up leaving that like that because it just isn't visible, because when the shoe chair is sitting, you should never see it, really was my thought process. But definitely had a lot of issues with getting this stuff all on there, and I ended up just turning the fabric inside out so I didn't have to buy new fabric to cover this back portion of the heel. I think it turned out really good though. I mean, obviously you can see the staples, but I feel like you could see the staples before. So I'm just not that concerned about it, and who's really looking at it in that detail? I don't know. But yeah, so this is it on the almost finished scale. The only thing that's left is I wanted to go ahead and shore up the back of the chair. The back of the chair just needed a little bit of trimming on some of the edges that were folded, and I wanted to add cording to the back of it as well. Right now you can see it's kind of got a rough edge going on with that back fold over the heel. Yet again, none of this whole project is perfect, but it is much better than its original counterpart. So yet again, my main project tools for most of this was the E6000 glue, my hot glue gun, and then of course my staple gun was used a bunch. I ended up having to buy more cording to do this part. I wanted to loop it around like a good couple times, kind of more like a rope and less like just a little bit of cording. I ended up mainly using E6000 glue to finish this part off because it dries so clear and fast, and it ended up looking really good. I am going to be making over my room completely, so hopefully this will make more sense, but it was my first time reupholstering a shoe, and I think it turned out pretty great. It was a lot of just thinking about how to fold it and staple it and pull it all together. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this, go ahead and leave me a comment below. Like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what you think. Was this better than the zebra chair? I mean, like I said, it's not a professional job, but it cost me like $40 to do. And that's a huge savings because these shoe chairs can be pretty expensive. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.